All right, guys. A couple of things to get through before we get on to the coaching video. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about the AFL game yesterday, which is a couple of interesting things from that, as well as some things about the Adelaide Footy League. So, as we normally do, get started with the milestones. We've got a couple of umpires clocking up their 200 games this week. So, one under Marty Daunt and the field umpire. And Troy Burge in the goals. So well done to you guys. Couple of things about training. There'll be skill drills for first and second year field umpires this Wednesday. So if that's you, make sure you bring a whistle. After training this week, Umpires Association will provide a free barbecue for all umpires. So it's a good night to be there. And some cheap drinks, $5 for beers and $2 for soft drinks. Now, as training does impact on appointments, as I mentioned at the start of the year, we're going back to the days where it does. I'm going to go back to what we used to do and make it an individual's responsibility to tick your name off. So I've been giving the sheet to Pete, and he's been doing a great job, but it's hard to track everyone. And I know when I handed out the written assessments recently, there was a couple that pointed out that their training attendance tallies weren't quite correct. So we'll just go back to making sure that it's your responsibility to tick it off and give Peter a break from doing it. A reminder about on-field dress code. I know most of you on the line probably already do this, but we do have some umpires being seen to not having their socks up. So just make sure your socks are up, your wristbands are on. Your wristbands are a part of the uniform. Your shirt tucked in. To keep that shirt tucked in, just put it into your underpants. It's something that was told to me from very early on, and it helps. And just to make sure that the whistles sound strong and are acceptable, make sure you're only using Acme Thunder or whistles. So just a few reminders there. But, we do see some umpires, field and boundary, not doing those things at times, and it just doesn't present ourselves in a very professional way. Okay, I want to touch on one of the things that happened in the Crows and Collingwood game yesterday. For those who are watching, there was a 50-metre paid to Nick Dacos in the last quarter against Rory Sloan, I think it was, where he had got rid of the ball and Rory held on to him. It's a rule which you don't see paid too often. And the history behind it was Alistair Clarkson's to blame for this rule. When Alistair Clarkson was coaching Hawthorn in 2008, they won the grand final based on a couple of things that they were, partly due to the fact that he was exploiting the rules. And one of those rules was when an opposition player was handball or kicking the ball and then going to get the ball back, Hawthorn players would grab hold of that opposition player and pull them back and stop them being able to get to the next contest. And while they might have given away a free kick, it just basically stopped momentum. It meant that the player that was running on to get the ball back wasn't able to do that. It meant that when the free kick was being set up, the defence was getting back and manning up their players. So it was certainly against the spirit of the game. So the following year, the AFL brought in the rule that if you are seen to be holding up an opponent after they've got rid of the ball, that a 50-metre would be paid. As I said, you don't see it too often. It was exactly the right free kick paid yesterday. And you can pay it in an Adelaide Footy League game. I don't want you to go looking for it. It needs to be really obvious. It's not just a free after disposal where you do pay a free down the ground. It's for specifically where you believe the player is holding that player up from getting to the next contest. And of course, the only difference between what happened yesterday and what would happen in an Adelaide Footy League game is you'd pay a 25, not a 50. So an interesting one, a blue mooner, because you don't see it that often, but a good one to kind of revisit. The rule is actually 19.3 in the rule book, so I'll put it in the coaching notes, but it reads like this. If a player intentionally makes prohibited contact against an opposition player who has disposed of the football for the purpose of preventing that player from taking part in the next act of play, the field umpire shall award a free kick and a 50-metre penalty to that player. So, yeah, as I said, it doesn't happen too often. happened yesterday. It was umpired correctly. And yeah, one that you just need to be aware of in the occasion where you see it. I think, yeah, you're not going to see it too much in our footy, but we don't see it at AFL too often. But yeah, if it happens and you're aware of it, you can pay that 25. On to something else that I just want to remind you of. A club umpire has the ability to lay a report. So if you have a club boundary, a club goal that you're umpiring with, and they witness something that they want to report, you need to help them record it in, or you can do it on their behalf in Officials HQ. So it will be treated like a report from a league umpire. The question will become in a game, do you issue a red card as a field umpire for an incident like that? That's where you have the discretion of using it if you feel the need is there or not. So I guess with club umpires, sometimes you're not quite sure of the exact story. There may be a question mark over it. But in the case of a club umpire seeing like a king hit, and obviously someone's been knocked out and no one else saw it but the club umpire, that's an appropriate example of sending a player off with a red card. So there's discretion there when a club umpire lays a report, whether you actually send the player off. But regardless, whether you send the player off or not, the report does go into Officials HQ and the league will deal with it as a normal red card would be dealt with. The last thing I've got on my list here is, excuse the voice again, I'm still battling away with this bug. Tickets to this year's presentation dinner at the Playford Hotel on Saturday, October the 14th, now on sale. So I'll put the link in the coaching notes. And always a great night. So worth getting in and booking your ticket as soon as you can. All right. So any questions on any of that or anything else that happened over the weekend? Now's a good chance to put a question forward if you've got one.
Hey, Colin, I've got one. It's Alison.
Yep.
Can an off-duty umpire who's perhaps watching the game either in a mentoring capacity or they just happen to be there, but whether they're a boundary off-duty or an off-duty field, can they make a report as well? 100%.
So any umpire with the league at any game you're at, whether you're officiating or not, can lay a report. Obviously, it would be something pretty major and it would be something that the on-field umpires don't pick up. But if you're at a game watching and you see a king hit behind play or something really serious, 100% you can go out to the officiating umpires at the next break of play and let them know that you're laying a report. And probably similar to the club umpire, they have the discretion to send the player off if they feel the need is there. So yes, 100%, you're exactly right.
Yeah, that's a good question, Alison. Colin, does that include some serious verbal abuse as well that maybe two umpires don't really hear or embrace from any of the coaches?
Oh, that's a good point, Andre. I would say, yeah, if it's serious abuse, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, absolutely, you can take action. There may be examples where you simply tap the matchday official on the shoulder and introduce yourself, say you're an umpire of the league, and you don't think what the coaches are saying is appropriate, could you tell them to calm down? So it'll be a little bit on the basis of each individual situation. But yeah, if you feel the need, 100% you can do it. Anyone else? All right. I see Andrew Story's on the line. So Andrew and Simon Hedger umpired Brahma Lodge on the weekend and had a hard day of it. Andrew contacted me after the game, put an email together detailing behaviour of players, coaches, spectators, Really thorough email. It was extremely professional. I got an email from St. Paul's representative who they were playing, saying how well those guys did to deal with what they had to face. And because they dealt with it on the day by paying free kicks and approaching matchday officials and doing all the right things, and then documenting it so well, the league has now certainly made Brahma Lodge answerable to everything that went on. And I guess if they step out of line again, there'll be some serious consequences. So I just want to say well done to Andrew and Simon for doing a really good job in tough circumstances on the weekend.
No worries. Thanks, Cole.
Got you, mate. All right. Let's get on to the coaching video. The coaching video is on control general play. So this is something that you need to do when the going gets tough. And there's some good examples on this video. All right. Hopefully, some of you have had a chance to watch the videos. Let's just see who's on the line here. All right, Marek, want to unmute yourself? You there, mate? Maybe the kids are giving him a hard time. Hilly, you want to unmute yourself?
Yeah, I can. I've not seen it before, Colin. I'm looking on my phone, so I'll see how we go.
All right, give it a crack.
Yeah, sorry,
All right,
I've got no idea. That just jumps, and I'm sorry. It just jumps from frame to frame, so I just can't.
Dave Palmer?
Yeah, Colin. Okay, what I saw is, of course, the ball going out of play, and the player throwing the ball into the opposition's face, which is actually worthy of the free kick and a possible yellow card for abusing the football in a manner likely to cause injury.
No worries. Well, you're 100% right. That's why I put it on, that we would want a free kick paid there. So if you see a player do that, I don't think it was vigorous enough to warrant a yellow card, but that's not to say there wouldn't be another scenario where it wouldn't. I mean, if he threw it and really hurt the guy with a vigorous throw, and it would probably cause a all-in brawl, I would think. If it was like that, then you'd want to get a yellow card out. But in that scenario, yes, free kick is definitely warranted. So one of the sayings, which you'll see on the video, take no shit. You shouldn't see players do that type of carry on, but they do silly things at times, and that's one would have been good to penalise. So Chris Braun, you want to unmute? You there, mate? No, we'll go with someone else. Smitty. All right. Give us a rundown on this, mate. What do you reckon?
Looked like one of the looks like West Croydon players was on the ground, went to ground, and followed through with a bit of a bump onto the player down there. That's what I said. It's a bit blurry, but umpire was in good position, came in and paid a free kick to the Trinity player as such. Probably one of those incidents that you got a couple of players on the pack. You don't want that to happen, and take control and get on with the play.
Yep. So there was a little bit of stuff that happened on the ground, and then as they get up, the West Croydon player just gave a really vigorous push to the chest. Not worthy of a card or anything like that, but it's a take no shit free kick. And really in these scenarios, if you don't take control, the players will. So stamp on it. Realize when they're not focusing on the game and they're doing stuff that's just going to escalate and cause problems, and play a free kick against the first one you see instigate something. So really good control free kick from Rashi. This is really the crux of what we do in our game. The most important thing is player safety, and a lot of that is brought on by the fact that we take control in these scenarios. And if the players don't feel like you're taking control, they will take control themselves, and then we're in for a tough day. So that's another good example of taking no shit and taking control. All right. Chris Lambert.
Yeah, mate, I haven't watched it yet, but let's give it a go.
All right. Who gave you the nickname the King? Who gave you the nickname of the King?
Me.
All right, King. See how we go.
Of approval. Gold star. It's too jumpy on my phone, mate. I got no chance. Sorry.
That's all right. Oh, Mark Goods.
Yep, I thought that was a no free kick. I thought the player flopped, and I would have thrown the ball in.
Okay.
I don't think there was enough force in it. I thought the guy, as soon as he felt contact, flopped, and I wouldn't have paid a free kick.
Okay. I thought someone might say that. And I know that there's been examples of that in AFL lately where the players do go looking for a free kick. In that particular scenario, there is no need for that player to run into him. Yes, okay, it perhaps may have...
If there's not enough force in the contact, it shouldn't be a free kick.
What was that?
If there's not enough force in the contact, it shouldn't be a free kick. The players just played for the free kick.
In our footy, where we were control of a game can be difficult, err on the side of paying those. If you think the player has gone over and above trying to get a free kick, sure, don't pay it. But in that scenario, there is no reason for that player to run into him. He has deliberately run into him, and I would want a free kick paid in that scenario. I understand what you're saying, but I think the flopping or the faking of looking for a free kick needs to be more obvious than that. I would prefer us to take control and pay one. All right. But these scenarios, not every case is the same. So you might go out there this week and a guy is running past another guy and he falls to the ground and looks for a free kick, and it's okay not to pay. I'm just saying in that scenario there, I think there's no reason for the guy to run into him like he did. Let me have it show again. And I think, if you're in two minds, just rather you pay it. He did push in there, and he just didn't need to do it. What's the hurt of paying a free kick? Yep.
Well, the biggest thing is the bloke that got infringed against didn't know it was coming. So you can't if you don't know it's coming.
Yeah, that's right. The difference between that and where they really do fake it and try and get a free kick is pretty minimal. But yeah, as I said, in our footy, you're more likely to get the player give away a silly free kick than someone go looking for it. At AFL level, it's different. They're on the lookout for free kicks so much more than local footy players. So, I just think if we don't take control in those sort of scenarios, then the players take control. All right. Rob Kane's just entering the Zoom. Rob missed out on his own decision. You can watch the replay. All right, so let's move through some of these other examples. So a lot of these sayings you've heard before, but it's good reminders. So be there when it matters. Urgency is a key. So Matt, who just said what he did there, he's umpiring this. This is really good umpiring, and it wouldn't be far off a really serious incident. Clearly a high tackle. Fortunately, he doesn't clean him up. I wouldn't be fussed with a yellow card there. That was a pretty ordinary bump, but at least Matt got in there and made his presence felt. Joel here pays the fend off, definitely there. So a little bit delayed in getting in, but he realises at the end there's players that go to ground. He needs to be there. So if you need to tap the other umpire through, then do it. You need to have a presence, but it was a good free kick and he got in there to let the players know. So delaying your vision on the last act of play, watch the players, not the ball. So if you're a spectator or a player, you follow the ball. As an umpire, we need to watch the player. Now, Greg pays the right free kick. It ends up getting paid back where the handball was. It's no big deal, but that really should have been an FAD down the field. So with these FADs, they're not the ones where we're talking about where Nick Dacos got the 50 yesterday. So it's not a deliberate attempt to stop a guy running through for the next act of play. It's just a late bump or a late hold, or there is a difference between what we talked about before and just a standard FAD. But that was a definite free up disposal. Taking your eyes off the play too quickly can mean you miss ones, like that one there. Stefan delayed his vision, saw the free kick. Matt also had eyes on it. Matt actually came in and gave a yellow card. So often with these late hits, you do want to make it clear that it's unacceptable, and yellow cards are really useful. Not going to have to yellow card every FAD, but those ones where it's just like where they're really vigorous and you think that you need to send someone off for a few minutes just to get the message across. That one there, just a late contact that didn't need to happen. So be alert, don't switch off and just react to what happens. So again, there's a disposal of the ball and a late bump. I don't know why players bump in those scenarios. You're only going to give away free kicks. But, you know, if we don't pay them, again, the players take control themselves. If they see the umpires taking control, then they to get back to playing footy. So again, a late bump after the handball. Stefan's right there, had his vision on the last act of play, pays the free down the field. So this is an area where you need to be strong, be assertive, and take no shit. If we have a game that we keep control of, our day is so much better than the opposite. In this one here, there's a kick, late bump, really good free downfield. Players are aware that you are going to penalise those type of frees. Don't matter, even if it's just slightly late. Those slightly late bumps, you need to penalise. And if you're in any doubt, just pay the free kick. Again, a late bump. And if you pay them early especially, the players get the message that they won't get away with it. So take positive action when required. Take some courage and strength to do this at times. The scenario here. Just an unnecessary bump. Good last act of play vision from Cameron. You don't see the other umpire, but the other umpire does come in there and help sort things out while the free kick's paid. I think Smitty's the one in charge here. Again, a slightly late bump, kick, and then bumped. Really good control. Players, anything slightly late need to be penalised. So in that case, it's a marking contest, a really ordinary contact afterwards. I wouldn't be fussed with a yellow card on that one. But at least we paid the free kick. At least we were right there. At least the players are aware they didn't get away with it. You want to speak to offending players, so you want to explain what they did was unacceptable. It can be like in that case. I think we'd yellow card that these days. But at least the free kick was paid. But you would want to tell the player, if you're going to take it to the ground, do not do that type of tackle. That one there, it's just unnecessary. Don't take your eyes off that last active play, otherwise you miss those free kicks. And I think Rashi actually yellow cards here. So just unnecessary. You can tell that he was intentionally going on him late. So that was good use of the yellow card. So yeah, it's just being aware of what is happening around us and staying alert at all times. So some really good examples on that clip. Any questions or comments on any of that stuff? All right. Anything else before we wind up? And apparently the AFL have come out and said that Jordan Dawson should have got a free kick in the last 10 seconds of the game yesterday. So even the AFL umpires make mistakes. And if you actually look at who was allocated to that game yesterday, they were 4 of the most experienced umpires that they have on their panel. And I mean, I don't blame them for missing that last free kick. Got a message from Matt Smith, stop complaining, Crows fans. When you have a free kick that you have to slow-mo to see, it shows you how tough our game is at times. So
it's true, but Colin, that they indicated also that he was in the right position, or he was blocked of the actual visual of that. Yep. There was 3 other umpires who could have seen that as well.
Yeah, but Andre, I was watching it just as a lot of others on the Zoom were. I don't reckon anyone would have been calling for a free kick until they saw Jordan Dawson appealing for it afterwards or saw the replay. So it's just an indication that our game is hard to umpire at times. We can do our best, but even the very best umpires don't always get it right. So it is what it is. All right, guys. We'll see you at training this week. Skill drills for first and second year umpires. Barbecue afterwards for everyone. Look forward to catching you then.